And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the newest and biggest expansion ever for Legendary, Marvel Legendary, and that's World War Hulk. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming at this point you play a ton of Legendary. There's not a standalone game. Go watch my original review if you haven't. If you're looking at this set and you're like, what is this even about? If you ever read the comics, this is in my top 5 storylines in comics. Essentially, a bunch of the smartest people on Earth got together and formed a group called the Illuminati. They decided the Hulk was too dangerous, so they shot him into space to a peaceful planet where he would live happily ever after. Something went wrong with the spaceship, and instead he landed on a planet run by a very evil dictator who captured the Hulk. Hulk was not as strong on this planet as he is normally, and put the Hulk through gladiator games. Hulk eventually broke free, revolted against the leader, took over the whole planet. Became the King Hulk, married someone, had a great life, until the ship that he flew in on blew up, killed 1 million people or so, including his wife. At that point, Hulk was really angry at Earth, got in a spaceship with all his friends that he had made, came back to Earth and decided to fight everyone and take over the world and crush all the heroes who had sent him into space. It's an amazing story. The first part, where he's sent to the planet, is called Planet Hulk. When he comes back to fight everyone, is World War Hulk. What this means is that in this game, some of the characters are both villains and heroes. If you look at the story, Hulk could be considered a villain. He's coming back to take over Earth. At the same time, he seems kind of a good guy, in much of this aspect. And maybe the guys who sent him into space are the bad guys. And so this game does a pretty good job, this expansion, of mixing them up. This expansion also adds a new mechanism called Transform, which is why this set has more cards than any other. So let's take a look at some of the cards in the game. There's a lot of cards to look at in this set, so let's get started here with the first hero, Hulkbuster Iron Man. Got some pretty standard cards. This one lets you draw a card and possibly get 2 extra attack. Then we have Outwit Smash 2. Now that's 2 different keywords in the same thing. So first, Outwit. Outwit, you can only be used if you reveal cards that have 3 different costs. That's not that hard to do, but it's going to make you kind of have a varied deck. So if you do that, then you can smash 2. So what does smash mean? A lot of cards in this set have smash, because not only does Hulk smash, but other things smash. That basically means discard another card from your hand to get an extra 2 attack. Okay, not so bad. That means this card could be a 4 attack. Pretty cool. Then the Hulkbuster also has Final Battle here, where it's 5 plus 2 for each other tech or strength card you play this turn. That's a pretty neat one. And then we have Build the Suit, which says if I play these 2 cards, I can transform this into Ultra Massive Armor. Okay, so Transform is another new thing. Every hero in this set has Transform. If you have Transform, the card that you transform into is set aside. You don't put those in the deck. And then when you transform, you'll take this out and replace this in your hand. So in this case here, it's draw 2 cards and then smash 2. Not too bad. I get 2 extra cards, and if one of them's bad, I can immediately get rid of it for 2 attack. I like this, and the whole transforming thing is really neat. We have Rick Jones. Rick Jones has more than 1 transform card. So here, if there's 5 villains in your victory power, he becomes A-Bomb, which is a smash 5. That's awesome. Rick can also, if you have a card in your deck, if you reveal top card, it's 3 or more, he can turn into Captain Marvel, who's a 2 attack, and then reveals top card. If it's 3 or more, you draw it. That's pretty neat. And Rick Jones also, if you defeat 2 villains this turn, he turns into the Destiny Force, and you put it on top of your deck. You don't always put them in your hand. You usually put them in your hand, but otherwise, in this case, you put them on top of your deck. Look at this. Count the number of different victory point values in your victory point pile. Draw that many cards. That's awesome, especially if you've beaten a lot of things. Then we have Gladiator Hulk. Yay! He gets to draw a card and smash 2. He has Cross-Dimensional Hulk Rampage. This was in another set. Basically, this means everyone else reveals a Hulk hero or a Hulk card in their victory pile, or they gain a wound. And then if any players gain a wound this turn, you get Wounded Fury, which just means you get +1 for each wound in your discard pile. All right, so we're getting a lot of these terminologies out of the way. Then he also, this one I love, you get double attack from each smash this turn. Woo! So you play this together, a lot of smashing, and then smash 3, which is smash 6, right? That's neat. He has a card smash 3, and if you discard at least 2 cards, you transfer this card into Hulk is King and put it on top of your deck. Hulk is King says when a card effect causes you to discard this card, you may return it to your hand. That's right. Try to get rid of that one. I really like this card. All right, now we have Meek. Now, if you've only seen the Marvel comic universe, you will see that Meek is not nearly as wimpy as he was in there. In the comics, he was a much more dangerous fellow. So he has, smash 1, here devouring Fenton. Here you may feast. So feast basically means KO the top card of your deck. So if you think the top card of your deck is no good, you can get rid of it. It's kind of I don't know how often I would use this. And here he can feast, and then if a card with an attack icon was KO'd from your deck this turn, transform this into Hive King Meek, who is like massively powerful, who's a 6 attack. You draw the top 3 cards of your deck, put them back in any order, then feast to get rid of one of them. Then there's the Brood Queen. This is another one of Hulk's allies, so she also can feast here with a couple of her cards. And this one will let her transform into the Torrent of Broodlings, which is just basically a 2 attack and draw a card. There's also a really, big card here. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, then feast 3 times. If you want, well, I guess you have to. You get +2 for each non-gray hero that was KO'd from your deck this turn. I don't know if I like the feasting on your own deck type thing, but hey, it's there. Then Scar. Scar's Hulk's son. Isn't that nice of him? He can smash for 3 on a very cheap card. You just need some more of these strength cards in your deck. He also has Wounded Fury. He gets a little irritated as time goes by. And here he can gain a wound, and if so, he can transform into a Raging Savage who is 3 and also has Wounded Fury. Namora, who's really not part of these stories, but I guess they just wanted to add somebody who likes to smash things. So she is, I think, the cousin of Namor. So many of her cards let her smash. This lets, if there's a villain in the sewers or bridge, you can transfer her to Master of Depths and put it on top of your deck. Yeah, she also likes to attack stuff in water. So if you're in a sewer, bridge, or the Mastermind, +1, that's not bad. Here she transforms to this, which is smash 3, and if you smash a 0-cost hero this way, KO it. That's pretty cool. Get rid of color card from your deck and get a smash 3 out of it. And then if the bridge is empty, you can move a villain there from another city space, and they get -3, so she can really whoop up on them. That's a really great card. Now, Bruce Banner, who's the very ultimate, I wonder what he transforms to. He has Outwit because he's smart. He has several of these. And if he outwits on this card, he then transforms into the Hulk, who has, of course, smash 4. She-Hulk is in the game. She's going to be smashing around here. This card I like a lot. If you have make at least 6 money this turn, you can KO a card from your hand or discard pile. So that's nice. Of course, this card doesn't give you money, so it kind of has to be in tune. For every 2 money you make this turn, reveal the top card of the hero deck, put it on the bottom of that deck, and you get that card's printed attack. Woo! I like that one a lot. And then she can also transform into Hurled Trucks, which is basically discard 2 cards for an extra +2. So it's a 2 minimum attack, but could be 6. Then here we have Amadeus Cho, who is a very smart person. I think he's the 8th smartest person in the world. He's always claiming that anyway. And at some point, he also will turn into the Hulk, the Totally Smart Hulk. And Totally Smart Hulk here, Outwit gets an extra 2. Here, whenever you use an Outwit, he can use it an extra time. That's a really neat ability, but if you're going to use it, obviously you want to have some Outwit stuff in the deck. The Shadow Queen, or Katera, who ended up marrying the Hulk here, so she's about as strong as he is. She can KO card from discard pile. This one, she can double your money, and if there are 3 or more heroes in the KO pile, then she transforms into the Vengeful Destroyer, one of my favorite cards in the game, which is just double your attack. That's a really cool thing to have. All right, let's move these out of the way and start with some new heroes here. Joe Fixit the Grey Hulk. Now, Joe Fixit the Grey Hulk, he's actually from older. I haven't seen him in the comics for a really long time, but he was kind of like a wise guy type Hulk. I mean, literally a wise guy thing. Here you can spend any combination of money or attack to fight the Mastermind this turn. Not a bad card to have at all. If you defeat a villain this turn that costs 6 or more, he becomes the Underworld Boss, where you can pick a villain in your victory pile and get attack equal to its printed victory points. Hey, it's Korg. Korg, who is like better than a thing maybe. So, he has smashings. You can smash a wound and get rid of it. You can transform into the Lord of Granite, who lets you draw a card and smash for 3. And then his card here, put all the cards from the headquarter. On the bottom of the hero deck, in random order, you get their total printed attack. Again, this is one of my favorite cards from the game. Hirium, who is a hero who helped Hulk, has some cool cards, and they're all about rescuing bystanders. Here he can rescue 3 bystanders or defeat people whose attack is less than the number of bystanders in his victory point pile. So that's kind of a neat idea. And if he has bystanders in his victory point pile, he turns into Hieroem, the redeem that you get +1 attack for every 2 bystanders in your victory point pile. So if you're somebody who likes to rescue bystanders, then he is definitely going to be somebody that you're trying to get. And finally, we have the Sentry. So here we have an interesting character. I'm not sure how much I like the Sentry. I don't like him in the comics. But reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 1 or more, transform this into the Void Unchanged and put on top of your deck. So he changes into the Void Unchanged, which looks super nasty. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 0, then Feast. Otherwise, transform this back into the Mournful Sentinel and put it in your discard pile. So these go back and forth between each other. And here he gets +1 attack card for each card that transformed this turn, so that can help that. Here he can transform into the Golden Guardian of Good and put that into my discard pile. So that's neat. And then I can transform this into Agoraphobia and put it in your discard pile. So they go back and forth again. And then finally this Unstable Power, which is his most powerful thing. Reveal the top 5 cards, get their total attack, and put it into the bottom of the deck. Great, that's awesome. But if it makes 12 attack or more, he transforms into the Void Mastermind. You don't really want that guy to show up. That's another Mastermind. So this card is ultra dangerous. I would never use it. Yeah, I would. But I'm still a little nervous about that. All right, so speaking of Masterminds, the Masterminds are pretty much the same as in the regular game. There's different kinds of Masterminds, and they're all like nasty and bad. This guy puts 2 wounds in everyone's deck, the Sentry, but they all have a possibility to transform. When there's a Master Strike, he transforms. And now they become something different on the other side. So here we have the Illuminati, who can transform into the Illuminati Open Warfare. We have Hulk. So like Hulk can be a good guy or he can be a bad guy. So here you must reveal your hand and discard a hero that isn't gray and isn't green, and then he transforms. Every time you fight him, he transforms. Oh no, I'm sorry, not that. Hulk transforms. I'm sorry, we're looking at the... Where did the other Hulk go? Hey, come back, Hulk. Here he is. When Hulk fights, he gets +1 for each of the Warbound villain. That's the people he leads. That's in the city or the escape pile. And you got to KO them. You know, if you beat his team, they might come back. And then when he transforms, which you don't want him to do, then everyone's going to reveal their hand and KO a card from their hand. And then he transforms back. So he'll transform to the really nasty Hulk and back. And there's MODOK, who's one of the guys who's always fighting against Hulk and who can transform. There's the Red King. The Red King's a really interesting character. You can't fight him while any villains are in the city. That's really hard. I mean, he's one of the easiest characters to beat. And in the comic, he was like this too. He was just an evil leader who put other people. But at the end of the comic, he got some giant machine where then he's much harder to fight. But then you can fight him. So every time he transforms, that's your chance to go after him. So whenever the Master Strike comes, boom, now's your time to hit him. Because it's really hard to clear the city of heroes. We also have General Thunderbolt Ross, which, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the comics in like 7 or 8 years, occasionally will change to the Red Hulk. There's also a whole lot of new schemes in this one. So there are all kinds of weird things. The Gladiator Pit is a fun one. Mutating Gamma Ray, shoot the Hulk into space, subjugate with obedience discs, and World War Hulk, which is really annoying because you put 3 extra Masterminds out there and they can kind of slide in and you're going to have different Masterminds to fight. There's also some more bystanders, an animal trainer, an actor, a tourist couple, a triage nurse. So at the rate they're adding these extra bystanders, pretty soon you won't have normal bystanders in the deck. And then there's just a whole bunch of villains. And I'm not going to really go through all the different villains in this game. I'm just going to kind of quick run through here. You'll see some of the people that you've seen as heroes show up as these villains. But there's just different types of villains that are going to be in the game. So this is kind of a quick run. Oh, that Great Devil Corruptor, man, but Hulk whooped its butt, so that's kind of cool. There's a Cosmic Hulk robot. I'm not even sure when I've seen that. Doctor Strange, a bad guy? What? Hulkbuster, this is from the Illuminati. Doc Samson, Crimson's Dynamo, Elektra, the Punisher's even in this one. Caught red-handed. So there's just a lot of different villains that are in this set. So that's pretty much everything, but that's a lot. Woo-hoo-hoo! Now, I was already kind of on board with this because of the theme. I really like this theming. But man, I'm trying to think of something bad to say about this. I usually put the heroes in order, and actually the order I showed them in is the order I like except Sentry, because I just want to show him transforming into the Mastermind. But man, there's so many good heroes in this set, so many awesome cards. The transform thing is so fun. You're like, oh, okay, how am I going to transform this guy? And every card in the set transforms. This is a really fun standalone set. Usually I sit there and go, ooh, what if I put these people with this? You can. But you definitely want to mix these up. And it's fun because you can play Hulk coming back, and you can then grab a bunch of heroes from another set and say, we're going to fight against the Hulk. Or you can say the Illuminati's there, and now the Hulk and his Warbound, and put all them in a deck. If you like the Incredible Hulk, and I do, this set has it in spades. And he's there with his cousin and with a bunch of his Warbound. And man, I like the characters. The cross-dimensional thing is kind of a stupid keyword, and I don't really like it that much. That might be the one thing I'm not a huge fan of. I love Smash as a mechanism. That's great fun. I like Outwit. I love the transforming, and we only showed you a quick glance at the schemes, but the schemes are entertaining and fun, and this just adds so much variety. I like the transforming masterminds. I actually like the transforming masterminds better than the super hard, you'll never be able to beat it masterminds that they've been doing lately. The transforming masterminds were more fun, and I wouldn't mind if they did more of those in the future in other expansions. So this may be my favorite expansion ever. I really like Fantastic Four. I really like, I like a lot of the expansions. There's a lot of great ones out there. But this is definitely up there in ranking. Fantastic. If you like Legendary, if you felt like Legendary, like me, I don't need more Legendary. A new set comes out, I'm like, meh. I don't need more of this. But this one I think makes the game a little bit fresh again. And they're obviously coming out with new, interesting, great ideas to add. Fantastic. Dice Tower Judgment, woohoo!